evening, everybody. Good evening. So the reason why it's so dark is because I'm driving. My name is Shyla Massey. I am the owner of Listening July, a travel company that specializes in all things hospitality. So that includes food and beverage, hotels, recreation, cruises, tours, anything dealing with hospitality. So it's dark because I'm actually in my car. And today we are going to talk about, so let me tell you a little bit about myself before we get started. I've been traveling as a solo traveler since I was like 10 years old. Um, the way that started was my parents got divorced. My dad moved out of the city. Sometimes he was able to come get me, sometimes he wasn't. And as a result, I had to travel as an unaccompanied minor. Originally, it started from me flying from Cleveland to Detroit and then Charlotte to um, Los Angeles or Orange County. But nevertheless, I was an unaccompanied minor. I have been left in the airport by myself, by my aunt, going out to California. I have been stranded. I have been kicked out of the airport while I was sleeping because there was a bomb threat and there was no one in the airport. I have been, I have missed a flight before as a minor. I have anything you can think about related to travel. I've experienced that. Um, and it has taught me how to navigate travel. I can honestly say that all of my experiences I've had related to travel has taught me how to travel, how to be a sad traveler. Hello, Jenny. How are you? We're going to talk. I'm just going over. My name is Shyla, and I'm going over everything that I learned on how to travel. So, I started off as a solo traveler as a minor. So, I was an unaccompanied minor. I've been left in the airport by my aunt for 3 hours as an unaccompanied minor. I have been experienced bomb threats in the airport out of the country, not in the United States, but I was in France at the time, coming back from Senegal, and there was a bomb threat. I was unaware of the bomb threat. So that is what gives me experience in traveling. So you're going to need a notebook and some paper because I'm going to tell you and I'm going to show you how to, hi Robin, I'm going to show you how to find inexpensive plane tickets. So the number one site that I use to travel with is Skyscanner. Very simple. I do not use Google Flights. I know people like to say that site, but I have been using Skyscanner, I would say for the last 15 years, 15 to 10 years, and I haven't always been able to pay whatever the going rate is for a flight that pops up on my screen. So the first thing you want to write down is www.skyscanner.com. That's the first thing you want to write down. So I'm in my car driving, but I wanted to do this live. So I do apologize. So you're going to write down skyscanner.com. Now, the good thing with Skyscanner, you can do a search. If you don't have any money, you can do a search with Skyscanner and it will tell you the cheapest cities to fly to from your city. So in one section, you put in your city, whatever that three-digit code is. I mean, three-letter code. If you don't know the three-letter code, that's okay. So the reason why I know all of the three-letter codes, well, majority of the three-letter codes for all major cities in America is because I used to work for American Airlines. My first job as an adult that I actually got paid was working for American Airlines. I lived in Cincinnati, Ohio. At the time, they had a reservation. It is 11:11 p.m. They had a reservation office in downtown Cincinnati, and I saw somebody when I was out shopping. They had the American Airlines badge. I'm like, where's American Airlines at? She told me it was on Walnut Street. I said, are they hiring? She said, yes. So I went around the corner to Walnut Street. I put in an application and I got a job. That's how I learned the 3-digit code. So if you want to put your code, the 3-digit code, in the chat for your city, or the name of your city, I can tell you the code for that city. So, and if you don't know the code with Skyscanner, you can just type the first name of your city, followed by a comma, then a space, and then your state code or your country code or or your country name. So again, you're going to type in the first name of your city followed by a comma and then the name of your country or your state, and it will automatically give you the 3-digit code for your city. And once you put that in, you can say find the cheapest flights, because there is an element within there that allow you to find the cheapest flights, and that's where you're going to go on vacation if you're on a budget. Now, I know it may not be a beach necessarily, or it may not be out of the country, but you're going to see a different area of your country. I know in the United States, I've been to 39 out of the 50 states, and when I say I've driven through the state. I can tell you how to get there without even using a map. I know how to get to a city, anywhere I am in the country, without using a map, but that's because I used to be my father's co-pilot. And when I was coming up, my father used to have to stop at rest stops or gas stations off the freeway, and he would get this book, and this book had every street in America. So when you would go to this, it would tell you how to get from, let's say, Detroit, Michigan to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. It would, and you would have to keep turning the pages to go from map to map to map to see the final destination. So yes. Hi. I think I said hi, Robin. Hi, Robin. So you're gonna put in the city code, your city name, state, or your city and your country, and you're gonna put that in, and it's gonna tell you where you can go. When you find that price, and so it's gonna give you a price. So because you're on a budget, you're gonna keep looking. And typically Tuesday, this is the next thing you need to write. Tuesday is the day that you're going to check for the lowest prices in America. I can't talk about any other country. I just know in America, Tuesday is the lowest day for prices. Now, have I seen prices low on a Sunday? Yes, I have. Sunday morning when nobody is up, I've seen prices very, very low. I've also seen it in my lifetime. I used to live in Cincinnati, so that's CVG. There used to be a flight from CVG to LAX. Always before Easter, the flight would drop down to like $150 round trip. I mean, that happened for maybe about 3 years, and then I moved out of Cincinnati and I never looked again. But right before Easter, there was always a flight from CVG, Cincinnati, to um, to LAX. So because I have friends at the time, I had friends and I had family out there, that would be a flight that I always booked. So you're gonna try, you're gonna check this flight, and then with Skyscanner, they also have a map. If the color is green, it's good. That means like this is a very low price. If the color it's like an orangish yellow, that means the prices are increasing. And if the color is red, it's like everybody has booked the flight and you're gonna pay a premium price for the flight. Currently, it's 11:15 p.m. What time is it where you are, Robin? So um, you're gonna pick the lowest, the lowest price you can see for a flight. Because um, if you're traveling on a budget, that means you can't just necessarily go to your dream destination right away. But being able to see a different area is better than seeing no area. So I want you to make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Yes, it's 11:15, Robin, p.m. So if you are on military time, that's 23:15. 23:15. So if you are looking for the lowest flight and you're on a budget, Skyscanner will help you do that. Skyscanner will also tell you if you have an emergency and you have to go somewhere, what what's the price you're going to pay for this ticket to get to wherever you're going. It tells you right then. It tells you if you may need to have two different carriers. Maybe it's cheaper to go one way on American Airlines if you're in the United States and come back on United. But it'll break everything for you down on Skyscanner. So here are the things that Skyscanner will do. It will tell you the cheapest dates to fly. It'll tell you the cheapest locations from your city where you can go to. And it'll also break and like it'll tell you the most expensive time that you're traveling. Now, one of the tips to travel inexpensively are not during a holiday time. I know if you have family or if you have children, you may want to go when the children are out of school. But if you go during a time that people aren't traveling, that's when you're going to get the better deal. In America, the best time to travel is before a holiday, any holiday, and after Christmas, after everyone has gone back to college. So like the second week of January, that is a good time up until Valentine's Day. Why? Because people have spent all their money on Christmas. People are not giving people trips for Christmas gifts. They're giving little kids toys and gadgets they're going to tear up by the first week of January. So if you wait until the second week of January, when all the college students have gone back to college and everybody has used all their money up, that's when you're going to find your biggest deals, between the second week of January and right before Valentine's Day. So whatever that week is. Okay, so I don't celebrate Halloween. I actually could care less about Halloween. Um, and if you celebrate Halloween, this is not the station. This is not the environment for you. And it's okay if you leave. Just to let you know, I care nothing about Halloween. Absolutely nothing. So I like to start with that. This is not the place to be at all. And if you say something I don't like, I'm gonna remove you from the chat. So we forever clear. And if you don't believe me, you can go watch the video that I already published. And I said, if you don't like something I say, go to somebody else's channel. There's plenty of people out there that'll say what you want to say. There's tons of people on the internet that'll say whatever you want to say, whatever you into. But I'm not into that. And so because of that, this probably ain't the place for you. So again, then after President's Day, after Valentine's Day, the next time to travel is anytime between February and March. And I know you may be saying, well, people get income tax returns around that time, but people don't spend their income tax returns on travel. I can tell you that now, because if they did, we would have more people seeing our country. We would have more people going outside of our country and seeing how other people live and experiencing their cultures. So, with that being said, anytime before a holiday, do not go the week before spring break, which is Easter, or the week after Easter, because majority of the schools in America, that is the time that they are traveling. If they have little kids, they're paying that premium price. But the reason for this live is to tell you that you can travel at a budget, but you may not be able to go during the time. Now, do airlines throw in rates all the time here and there? Yes, they do. They do it all the time. I can't speak on if you have a credit card and you use your points. I can't speak on that. But what I can speak on is that you can travel anytime before a holiday and anytime after, but your best deals are after the Christmas holiday or in between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Why? Because people are spending their money on Christmas gifts. They are not spending their money on travel. And so the rates are lower. If there's a conference and you pick a city that you want to go to, it's going to be high. You may be wondering, like, wow, it's no holiday. Why is it so high? Because it's a major conference and they got a lot of people flying into this city for that week, for that weekend to attend this conference. So, and you don't have to go to places that other people are going. Figure out what you like. For example, I've flown into Las Vegas, I've rented a car, and from Vegas, and my ticket round trip, this was during COVID, was $49 for me and my family per person. We were on Spirit, and let me say this as well. I don't discriminate. I fly the cheapest carrier. If it's Spirit in America, I'm on Spirit. If it's Frontier, I'm on Frontier. If it's American Airlines, I'm on American Airlines. If it's Delta, I'm on Delta, and so forth. I have loyalty points with all airlines. Every airline in America, I have a loyalty point with them. So I don't discriminate against the carrier. As long as I get there safely to my destination and get back home, I'm okay. And everything you see on my YouTube channel, I've actually been to that location. And that's only recently. Some of this stuff is like the last 2 years. I'm not even showing you things from 2017 when we went the one day. I think it was 2017, whatever that year that the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, the weather was phenomenal. That was the year I went to Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and we actually drove from our city to New York City to see the parade. The weather was beautiful. My children got to play in Central Park in the leaves. I have pictures of them playing. We started with jackets on. By the time the parade was over, it was no jackets. It was Thanksgiving Day. I never thought that I would have that experience. As a kid, I remember watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I remember seeing it and like, man, I wish I could go. But here I am as an adult, and I'm able to have that experience with my children. So when you look for a flight, you're looking for, if you're on a budget, you're looking for the lowest flight, the lowest ticket, the lowest price possible. If, money is a concern for you, you don't have to not travel if you are low income. You can make a way. People buy all types of expensive things. They buy $200 shoes, $5,000 purses. That's a trip right there. That's a ticket. I know most cities, their number one flights are to Orlando, Florida, and Las Vegas, and they're also inexpensive tickets to DC. So if you've never seen those cities, I would start there. Or like I said, started off this conversation, I would start at the city that has the cheapest ticket. And Skyscanner will tell you that. I used to use an app before COVID, and it was Hopper. But once COVID hit, and I was able to fight and get a total refund. I know some people weren't able to get a total refund, but I was fortunate for me. I was able to get back all my money, back on all my tickets that I had booked. And so I used to use Hopper. Hopper did the same thing. Hopper would tell you, okay, you want to leave at this time. This is when this ticket is from. You need to book your ticket from this time to this time because this is the cheapest time that you'll be able to get the ticket. Like I said, I haven't used Hopper. I just stick with Skyscanner now because of the ease for me. It's really easy for me to stick with Skyscanner. So again, Skyscanner is www. S is in Sierra, K is in Kilo, Y is in Yankee, S is in Sierra, C is in Charlie, A is in Alpha, N is in November, N is in November, E is in Echo, R is in Romeo.com. So that is the website that you would want to use to find the cheapest ticket. Some of my favorite city for weather in the United States is San Diego. And you may be wondering, like, San Diego, how did you pick that? Well, I went there for work one year with some students because fortunately for me, a lot of the jobs when I worked for someone else that I chose all dealt with travel. So I always had to go somewhere on business travel. I would present at conferences. And at the conferences, that would allow me to meet, other people and have experiences. So in San Diego starts out every morning, it looks gloomy, especially in the summertime. Around May to August, it just looks gloomy every morning. And then by the time the day really gets started, the sun comes out and the temperature is very mild. And when I say mild, it's not too hot like Southern California in the summertime when it's 102 degrees, 103, 110, 120. It's a very mild temperature. like maybe 75 degrees, 70 degrees every day. And so that is like the ideal weather for anyone. It doesn't rain, it doesn't snow. Like you're not really facing any major elements. The most major thing that you're gonna face in that part of the country would be an earthquake. And I've never experienced an earthquake in San Diego. Now I have experienced an earthquake in Southern California, like in Orange County, but I've never experienced one in San Diego. And then my favorite city in the United States just overall is the DMV. So that's DC, Maryland, Virginia, that area. So anything that encompasses where the government is situated, the United States government, that's where I like. So again, this is Glistening July. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We cover all things tour hospitality. So that includes tours, that includes hotels and accommodations, that includes cruise lines, recreation, food and beverage, anything dealing with hospitality. That's what we cover on this channel. If you're interested in, if you've never traveled before and you're interested in taking your first trip, this is the place that you want to subscribe to. We go to budget hotels, we go to luxury hotels, everything in between. Oftentimes now we fly there. Today we're actually headed back from Detroit, so I'm actually driving because it's a short 2 hour 45 minute drive. It's not long at all. And just to inspire everybody, to encourage them, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're interested in travel, if you ever dreamed about traveling. Like I started off, I talked about who I am, how I got started. I've been flying as an unaccompanied minor since to about the age of 10. So unaccompanied minor is somebody who is under the age of, used to be like 13, but all airline carriers don't allow unaccompanied minors either. So I don't believe that Spirit of Frontier do, but I've never sent a child on Spirit of Frontier as an unaccompanied minor. But at a certain age, you are no longer considered an unaccompanied minor. I want to say that's 13. You are considered a just a passenger. So being able to navigate that and understand how to get around the airport is something that I have learned because I had to do it on my own. I had to rely on, flight attendants to help me as a teenager. I have been, or a kid, I have been stuck at the airport before. So I've been stuck by myself at the airport for 3 hours because my aunt forgot me. I have been in an airport and it see me because I am driving right now from Detroit to Cleveland, driving back to Cleveland. So I am headed there, and I decided on live and talk about how to find an inexpensive plane ticket. Could I have gone Spirit to Cleveland? Yes, but I still would have had to rent a car to get to the destination that I was trying to get to. So thank you for tuning in. This channel, we talk about all things travel. If you are interested in traveling at all, this is the channel you need to subscribe to. Every hotel you see, every food experience you see, that is something that I have personally experienced either by myself or with my children. None of the videos that you see, I have not been there. I have been to 39 out of 50 states. I have driven through 39 out of 50 states. I have driven through Wyoming out of all the places to be. I have driven through South Dakota. I have driven through, where else have I been? I've driven out of 39 states. The states that I have not visited or driven through are Hawaii, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Oregon, Washington, Vermont, New Hampshire, Connecticut, Hawaii, because I could never drive through Hawaii. Hawaii is one of the states that you actually have to cruise or fly to. Where else Have not been to Idaho. And it's one more, and I can't think of that right now. North Dakota. So North Dakota, I think that's 10. But if you are looking for a plane ticket and you're looking for an inexpensive plane ticket, www.skyscanner.com. I went over earlier in this video. That's SKYSCANNER.com. And they will tell you on that website what is the cheapest flight from your city to another city. So what does that mean? Like whatever city you live in. Let's say you live in CLT, that's Charlotte, and you want to go. It'll tell you what is the cheapest flight that I can book from Charlotte, and it'll give you a list of destinations. If you leave from Charlotte, you can go to this city. If you leave from Charlotte, you can go. These are the prices for your flight there. And with Skyscanner, it will also tell you the best time to come, like to go, to travel. So what month is the best time to travel? And I think that's it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Does anyone have any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? I am driving. That's why it's dark. I'm driving. It's 11:32. It's late. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get on off of here.